Hey, what's up, my fellow tinnitus warriors? You know, that constant ringing in your ears sounds like a bad after party that never ends. I feel you. But here's the thing. If you've already got that sweet 10% VA rating for tinnitus, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That annoying buzzing might just be your trick to something bigger. So let's talk about secondary conditions. And no, I'm not talking about your cousin's I'll pay you back secondary conditions. I mean actual legal medical conditions that might get you a much higher VA rating. Now, before you say, but dude, it's just 10%, and that's barely enough to cover my morning coffee habit. Let me blow your mind. Pause. That 10% tinnitus rating, it's just the beginning. You could be looking at ratings that bring you up to 50%, 70%, or even the great 100%. Yeah, you heard me. Let's break it down, piece by piece. All right, so let's say you're one of many vets out there already service connected for tinnitus. Great job. You're ahead of the game. But did you know that your tinnitus can cause, or at least make worse, a bunch of other conditions? These are what we call secondary conditions. Think of it like this. Tinnitus is that obnoxious friend who shows up to the party. And then they bring along even more obnoxious friends like migraines, anxiety, and depression. And guess what? You can get compensated for those too. So where do we start? Let's talk migraines. Yep, that ear ringing can turn into some nasty headaches. And not just any headaches, migraines. They're brutal, trust me. The VA even gives them a special spot in the rule book. You've probably heard about prostrating headaches, right? It's a weird term, I know. Basically, if your headaches are bad enough that you have to lay down, you could be looking at 30 to 50% ratings. Oh yeah, we're climbing that compensation ladder now. But wait, there's more. You don't just have to suffer from migraines. There are actual over 150 types of headaches that could qualify for a rating. So if you got anything from tension headaches to cluster headaches, you're in the running. Now, how severe are those headaches? That's key. Are they messing with your job, your ability to earn money? Maybe you're missing work or you can't get projects done. Boom, that can bump you up to 50% if it's causing severe economic inability. A fancy term, I know, but it's a good one when it comes to boosting your rating. Okay, migraines are just one path. But let's not stop there. The next major player in this game, mental health conditions. Tinnitus isn't just annoying, it can mess with your head, big time. Anxiety, depression, chronic pain syndrome, also known as somatic symptom disorder, you name it. If you're losing sleep or anxious because of that constant ringing, you could be looking at a secondary service connection. And here's where it gets real. The average VA rating for mental health conditions is a whopping 70%. That's right. You've got that annoying buzzing sound to thank you for possibly getting you at a solid 70%. Whether it's PTSD, depression, or generalized anxiety, these conditions can often be linked to tinnitus. The thing is though, you need to prove it. And that's where we get into the nuts and bolts of making this work. Alright, we've got three big pieces to the puzzle. First, you gotta have a medical diagnosis. No diagnosis, no dice. Whether it's migraines, mental health issues, or anything else, you need that golden ticket from a doc saying, yep, this condition is real. And hey, this diagnosis can come from any credible source. It doesn't have to be from your military service records, VA records, private doctors, heck, even a late night urgent care visit would work if it's documented properly. Second, you need to already be service connected for tinnitus. If you've already got that 10%, you're good to go. Make sure you got that proof in hand, whether through your e-benefits account or VA medical records. And now for the third and most important part, medical nexus evidence. This is the deal maker right here, folks. A medical nexus letter is like your golden ticket to the chocolate factory. It connects the dots between your tinnitus and the secondary condition you're claiming. Without it, you're not getting in. Not always. You need a doctor, preferably an independent medical provider, to write this up for you. They'll state that it's likely that your secondary condition, whether it's migraines, depression, anxiety, is caused or aggravated by your tinnitus. It's like the legal equivalent of yeah, those two are definitely connected. Now, you might be wondering, how do I get one of these Nexus letters? Well, time to call up your doc. Talk to a healthcare provider, get the evaluation, and ask for the opinion that links your secondary condition to your tinnitus. That's the secret sauce for getting you approved by the VA. And if your VA doctor isn't on board, don't worry. Private healthcare providers can do this too. Once you've got the diagnosis, service connection, and Nexus letter, it's game time. You've got everything you need to file that secondary service claim. Now, there's a few ways you can go about Nexus letters, as mentioned before. You can do it the free way, which is through your primary healthcare provider, the VA healthcare provider, even through your primary care through your job. There's also private medical organizations that specialize in Nexus letters for veterans. Now, these can cost a pretty penny. I mean, between 5 and 10K. So make sure you only get one of those if you absolutely need it. So speak with a professional first. So let's sum this up. Tinnitus might get you a measly 10% on its own, but when you link it to migraines, mental health conditions, sleep apnea, or other secondary conditions, the sky's the limit. You could be looking at 50%, 70%, or even more depending on your situation. Here are the top 5 conditions to tinnitus: migraines, anxiety disorders, depression, somatic symptom disorder, which is chronic pain syndrome, and then you have sleep apnea. These secondary conditions can turn that small 10% into a much bigger compensation package, so don't settle. Bottom line, if you've got tinnitus and you're sitting on that 10%, it's time to ask yourself, what other conditions is this causing or making worse? Get that medical evidence lined up, file those claims, and don't stop until you get the rating you deserve. It's your right and it's worth fighting for. If you want to find the top 5 conditions that can boost your rating related to PTSD, check out this next video.